When we think of evil, one name echoes through history, a synonym for the ultimate antagonist: Satan, the devil. But the story of evil doesn't begin with a horned, monstrous demon. It begins with an angel. Not just any angel, but the most beautiful, most powerful, and most beloved of all of God's creations. His name was Lucifer, the Lightbringer, the morning star, who shone brightest in all of heaven. So how did heaven's greatest creation become its most infamous traitor? What could possibly corrupt a being of pure light and perfection? Today, we are not investigating a monster. We are performing a psychological autopsy on a fallen angel. We will trace the origins of pride, the spark of rebellion, and the cataclysmic war that split the cosmos and gave birth to evil itself. This is the tragic story of the fall of Lucifer. To understand the fall, we must first understand the height from which he fell. Lucifer was not just an angel, he was an archangel, the anointed cherub. The prophet Ezekiel describes him as the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. He walked in a divine Eden, and his celestial body was adorned with every precious stone: sardius, topaz, and diamond, beryl, onyx, and jasper. John Milton's epic Paradise Lost expands on this, portraying him as the most powerful of all angels, second only to God himself. His beauty was so radiant, it outshone all others, and he was the leader of the angelic choirs, the one whose music brought the most joy to the Creator. He was not a creature of darkness. He was the embodiment of divine light and artistry. He was God's masterpiece, and it was this very perfection, this supreme status, that would become the seed of his own damnation. For in a heart filled with so much light, even the smallest shadow of pride can grow into an all-consuming darkness. So what was the catalyst for the first rebellion? The story, primarily from Milton's Paradise Lost, points to one specific event. One day, God, the Father, elevated his Son, Jesus Christ, to be his second command, and decreed that all of heaven must bow down and worship him. For Lucifer, this was an unbearable insult. He, the morning star, the most powerful and beautiful of all created beings, was suddenly being asked to bow to another. His pride, born from his own perfection, began to curdle into resentment. He whispered seeds of dissent among the other angels, arguing, "Are we not also sons of God? Why should we bow to one who is our junior, our lesser?" Another interpretation suggests his rebellion was sparked by the creation of humanity. Lucifer, a being of pure spirit and light, could not accept that he was expected to serve these new, flawed, fragile creatures of clay. He saw it as a profound humiliation. In either case, the motive was the same: a narcissistic rage born from a wounded ego. He could not accept being second to anyone. He believed his own light was equal to that of his Creator. Lucifer's whispers of rebellion found fertile ground, and soon a third of the angelic host had joined his cause. Heaven, once a realm of perfect harmony, became a cosmic war zone. This was the great heavenly war. Lucifer, now calling himself Satan, when the adversary was a brilliant general. He organized his legions of rebel angels and launched a direct assault on the throne of God. On the other side stood the loyalist army, led by the fierce and powerful Archangel Michael. The battle raged across the celestial plains for 3 days. Angels fought against angels, their swords of light clashing in a storm of unimaginable power. Milton describes divine cannons forged in hell and mountains being torn from their foundations and used as projectiles. Despite their fury, the rebel angels could not overcome the might of Michael's forces. But neither could Michael completely vanquish them. The war was a brutal, bloody stalemate, a wound in the heart of creation. It was a civil war that threatened to tear eternity apart until a greater power intervened. On the third day of the stalemate, God the Father unleashed his ultimate weapon, his Son, Jesus Christ, riding a divine chariot of fire. Clothed in the full power of the Godhead, he alone was enough to end the war. He did not engage in a duel. He unleashed a wave of pure divine energy and judgment that the rebel angels could not withstand. Their beautiful forms began to twist and corrupt. Lucifer, the morning star, was the first to be cast down. He fell from the celestial heights, a falling star of unimaginable brilliance, his light extinguishing as he plummeted. For 9 days and 9 nights, he and his legions fell through the vast, formless chaos that existed outside of heaven's gates. They finally came to rest in a new realm that had been prepared for them, hell. The fall was not just a change of location. It was a profound transformation. The beautiful angels, once radiant with divine light, were now twisted into grotesque demons. Their physical forms, now a reflection of the darkness and hatred in their hearts. The Lightbringer had become the Prince of Darkness. The story ends with Lucifer, now Satan, awakening in his new fiery kingdom. He gathers his defeated army, and in Milton's Paradise Lost, he utters one of the most defiant and famous lines in all of literature: "Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven." The story of Lucifer is the ultimate cautionary tale about the destructive nature of pride. His power was not in his ability to win, but in his absolute, eternal refusal to submit. He was the one who introduced the concept of rebellion into a perfect universe. The question of his character has haunted theology and philosophy for centuries. So, What is the final verdict? Was Lucifer a petulant narcissist who couldn't handle not being number one? Or was he a tragic, revolutionary figure who chose freedom in damnation over servitude in paradise? A monster of evil or the ultimate anti-hero? You be the judge.